Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to take a moment, and I hope everybody is doing okay. Man, I am just coming back. Last week was a rough week for me, man. I had COVID, and this fourth time around really put me down. So, hope everybody's having a great Friday. And I'm impromptu, not scheduled. My team is scrambling, but I wanted to spend some time with you today. And I seen something very like impactful, motivational, and inspiring to me earlier this week when I was at Houston. I was at the Black is Tech conference, and I got the opportunity to meet with so many different minority CEOs, business owners, and founders, and people looking to jump into tech, people that are in tech. And I just felt really inspired. And a lot of the times, some of the sessions on the founder stage, which is a track that they had at the particular conference, they were talking about where founders, CEOs, and owners of these tech companies were sharing their founder stories. And I got the chance to sit through, and you just seen the passion from these CEOs, these owners, and these founders of these tech companies. And it really motivated me. And I was like, man, I should jump on here and do a founder story around Fresh FP&A. So that's exactly what I'm going to give you here today. If this is your first time jumping in on live with me, my name is Chris Ortega. I run a global fractional CFO and advisory service company called Fresh FP&A, and we help SMB businesses with financial clarity and strategic growth as they continue to grow their business. So, um, what I wanted to start off with is just share really in four different chunks. The first piece of it is the inspiration behind Fresh FP&A. And this goes back after spending, I would say, 2 decades in accounting, finance, and FP&A leadership. I had the opportunity to be part of building finance organizations and building, scaling them, and exiting them. I was coming off of actually closing out an acquisition for a international marketing platform company. It was the largest acquisition that I was ever a part of, and I found myself in like coming outside of that. I stayed over for a year to help with the post merger integrations of both the companies. And then I found myself at another software company. And this is a artificial intelligence and machine learning company. I was super excited about it. They just raised their Series B, and I was coming in. I'm like, great, here's another software company. Here's the ability to be able to scale, grow, exit it. And it was right before the boom of ChatGPT and all the LMS tools like the ChatGPT, the Geminis, the Claude, the Perplexities, and all those different tools. And I was really excited about the opportunity. And I came on board, and I never forget like the first moments of coming inside the organization, I knew something was different. And I won't go through all the details that had happened, but ultimately, I found myself at that opportunity, and I was laid off. I reached the mountaintop of finance. I reached the highest levels of being a finance leader inside of organizations, and I was part of a massive reduction in the organization. And I found myself at this fork in the road in my career, right? And I'm being honest with everybody. I was struggling. Like I didn't know like what my next step was. I was like, do I continue to go after these finance leader roles? Do I continue to go after CFO level roles? But I'm gonna be honest with you. I had this calling on me, and I'll never forget the moment that I had this just I can't. It's hard to explain. Like going back to that moment, I can feel it, but I'm struggling to find the actual emotions of how I felt during this time of like, man, this is a time to take a leap of faith. And when I got to that, I realized like two things that I knew. The first thing that I really realized is I knew what it took to shape, scale, and transform finance organizations. I've been doing that most of my career. I know the good, the bad, the ugly, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I knew that piece of it. The second thing that really spurred me in this inspiration side was I felt like there needed to be a fresh perspective brought to finance. So let me take you back a little under 3 years ago, and I was in my office. I just bought a new house, and I'm in my office, and I'm going through, and I'm thinking through this inception of fresh, right? And I'll never forget, like honest story. I send a message to my sister. I send a message to my nephew. I send a message to my two best friends. I send a message to my mentors, and I'm going through this ideation of like, man, there needs to be a fresh perspective brought to finance. I know I can bring that fresh perspective. And when I was thinking about it, I said, man, fresh is definitely going to be in there. And then when I thought about the FP&A side of it, right, I was like, looking back over my 20 years and building, shaping, growing high finance organizations and all the lessons learned, I was like, FP&A is not going to be financial planning and analysis as it was traditionally, right? That sounds very quantitative. When I look back over my career and I look at the value that I wanted to bring to people, that I wanted Fresh FP&A to be, I wanted us to be financial partners and advisors. So when I came up and like, shout out to Canva. I don't even know how I came across Canva for the logo that I built. Shout out to Canva. Like this logo that you're seeing on Fresh FP&A literally was built in Canva. And I was coming across it and I seen this logo and I was like, I instantly fell in love with how it designed, it looked. And then when I was coming up with our six pillars of financial transformation, which are people, process, and partnership, and then those scaling pillars are platform performance and profit optimization. I was like, I designed this spin wheel and I was like, yes, you got to start with the people. Then you got to go to the processes. Then you got to build a partnership. That's always the foundation of high performance and great finance teams that I built or been a part of. And then when we scale and help our clients and the value we want to provide are definitely around platforms, performance, and profit optimization strategies and tactics. So I came up with all this and I'm like, Fresh FP&A, that's it. That's exactly what we're going to do. And, getting the catalyst of the business. This maybe not, maybe people don't know this about me, but I think another unique thing about me is like, I've always had that entrepreneur mindset. I remember going back and being young and just to share with people personally, like I grew up in a single parent background, me, my mom, and my sister. My mom worked multiple jobs to make sure we were low income, subsidized housing, subsidized luncheon, everything, right? Like I grew up poor and I grew up in the hood. And I've always found ways to find money and the legit way. And just, transparency. Like I have family members and, my sister was actually the first person in our entire family to get the opportunity to go to college. So ways of making money in my family, there was a lot of different, I would say, not good areas of doing that. There were a lot of what I would call distractions in my family. And when I grew up, I always had these like low key entrepreneur ventures, right? I can go back and I was shoveling snow during the winter time. I was raking leaves in the apartment complexes that I was a part of to make money. I was selling candy out of my school locker to get money to go buy Jordan sneakers. Like I was doing people's homework. Like I was really good in algebra and calculus and geometry in high school. So I would do people's homework or help tutor them to make money. I always found a way to make something into nothing. Like take a skill that I had or work hard or build a team. I go back to when I was shoveling snow in December timeframe. We were coming up on fall. Shout out, drop in the comments like what's your favorite season. I'm definitely like a fall summer person is me, but shoveling snow. I would grab two friends of mine in my neighborhood and we would go out early in the morning and we go to each door and we would say, hey, to shovel your little walkway, we do that for $10. If you want us to shovel your patio, your walkway, and the outside of it, we can do that for $15. And I would have a team. I would get my two best friends and I'm like, all right, here's how we're going to break up the neighborhoods. Like I'll focus on this neighborhood. You go to this neighborhood on the left and then you go to the other neighborhood across the street or the houses. And we would do everything. And I remember just knocking these things out. And the apartment complex that I lived in, we actually had like one of those laundromats that you can go do laundry in. And we would have schedules like we go out and 4 hours through, we would go back, go to the laundry room, go eat our lunches, throw our clothes that we were all wet in, throw those in the dryer to get dry. And we had our next like afternoon that we had to do. And I do this for 4 or 5 days. I would commit to doing this. Mind you, I was out of school, so I wasn't having the school thing. And every day I'm like, hey man, we'll meet at the laundromat. Here's our game plan that we're gonna tackle. I'll see you guys back at like 12:30. We can eat our lunches, we dry our clothes, and then we hit the night shift out of there. And we will pool all of our money together. And I said, hey, whatever we pull together, let's just split it 3 ways. And that's what it's going to be. And the outcome of this, man, is like, not only I'm like 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. In middle school is when I was doing this. And I'm out here doing this, and I'm like, structuring a team. I've got our execution plans. I got our meetings down. We're pulling the resources together. We got our schedules. The thing about it is like, I did this all organically. It wasn't like I had this is back in early 2000s, late 90s, right? Like I didn't have like ChatGPT or a full business plan laid out. I'm just like, this is what you need to do to structure this. So I want to share that because I think in the founder story, as they started, that inspiration side, those are so many different things throughout my life that inspired me. I think another personal situation professionally that I want to share is I've had the opportunity to work with so many great CEOs and founders throughout my career. Right, like working side by side with Scott Jones, who was at Boston Scientific and actually invented voicemail. Like, yep, go Google it, go check the patents. Scott Jones invented voicemail, right? Working alongside him, working alongside Ohad Heck at Marcis, working alongside Terry and DJ Miller at WebLink International, right? I've had the opportunity to surround myself with some great CEOs and founders. So being able to take that leap of faith and jump into that after coming across a difficulty in my career where I got laid off, that was really that catalyst and inspiration. The second part I want to share with you around my founding story of Fresh FP&A is specifically around the vision. So I kind of talked a little bit about this earlier, and one of the most things that I think ties to the vision and being part of the Black is Tech founder stories that they shared was every founder kind of talked about what their North Star was. And for me, going back, I figured out my North Star probably, I would say, 10 years before starting Fresh FP&A. And I take it back to that moment. I was at a software company. I was leading the finance organization, more of a manager of finance, and I reported to the CFO. And we did this exercise as a team where we worked through like figuring out our why and our purpose statements. And what I realized back then carried over and can still consistent today. That North Star that I figured out was I want to be able to use my skills, passions, talents, and experiences to help others realize and achieve greatness. So I remember going back and crafting this out and looking at YouTube videos. And when I wrote this down 10 years ago, I remember looking at this and I was like, this is it. This is going to be, I think, not only at that stage of my career, but for the future of my life, this is going to be my North Star. Now, fast forward to building Fresh FP&A. That is literally the vision and the founding statement and the why and the purpose of everything that we do. That is a question I ask every person that comes on board to work at Fresh FP&A. That's a question that I ask every client it comes on for Fresh FP&A. That's a question I ask every partner, everybody associated with Fresh FP&A. If that is not your North Star, if you don't want to use your skills, passions, talents, and experiences to help others realize and achieve greatness, that's the focus. That's where we're all focused on. I've actually, and this is me being transparent, I've actually turned down clients and opportunities and great partners because they were not aligned to that vision that we have at Fresh FP&A. And that's how focused and that's how committed I am in leading the business. And in my founder story, that is the vision for us. Like that's everything. And the purpose of the vision and that why or that purpose or whatever name you want to fill in for that, right? During the times when it's good, like you're focused on that. You're like, man, but it's also a great place when times have been bad. And let me tell you, in almost 3 years of building Fresh FP&A, and I'll probably speak for all CEOs, founders, everybody looking at this that's an entrepreneur, we have all found ourselves in that ways where we hit that trench, where we're kind of low on ourselves. We doubt our abilities. We doubt our impact. We doubt if we're doing enough. We doubt if we should continue to build this business. And when I found myself in those moments, anchoring back to that North Star, that why, that purpose, that mission, that vision. That has been something that has definitely carried me throughout, and continue to build Fresh FP&A, continue to build value. And then the focus on the SMB side. After spending my career, I've had the opportunity to work in publicly traded companies all the way down to SMB smaller companies. And when we got that focus and we got really the vision of where we wanted to provide value, I knew it was around the SMB space. And then I had a great mentor to me and says, Chris, SMB means 1,000 things to a lot of different people. You got to be clear and concise. Like when you say SMBs, what does that mean? And I was battling early on and I'm just transparent with everybody. I was battling early on in building the business because I was like, I don't want to niche down too fast. Like I was like, if I niche down too fast, I'm going to be alienating people. And this took me some time to really get and I forget who told me this, and I think I seen it somewhere, but it was like the riches are in the niches. And I was like, that's finally it took me 3 years to realize that. And when I got to define SMBs, I was looking at our portfolio of clients that we've worked with. And I was looking at the value that we provide and also looking at like stage of businesses, right? And typically when you reach that 60, $70 million revenue target as a business, or maybe you're private equity backed, or maybe you brought in VC capital, that is really like that cutoff frame of what SMB means to us. So SMB, small to medium sized businesses, that's $1 to $70 million that we want to focus on. And then getting even more specific, we wanted to work with growing businesses. Again, when I look at myself, and I look at my team of other fractionals that are part of Fresh FP&A, that's our model. We work with growing businesses. We want to work with organizations that are looking to access the capital. They're looking to grow. They're looking to expand product lines. They're looking to grow in different markets. They may be thinking about acquiring different businesses. They're going to have a different investing and capital requirements that going to need to grow their business. So I was like, I definitely want to work with growing SMB businesses. And for me, that was the focus, right? And let me be honest with you, right? As you're going across your entrepreneurship journey, right? I think it's important that I didn't originally come out and immediately have that sharpened focus. I kind of had to figure it out along the way. Like I wasn't a firm believer. I was like team of like, don't niche down too quickly. Like don't immediately come down. Like I was like, I want to figure out, I want to test things out. I want to organically kind of go into the businesses we want to work with, the industries that we want to focus on, the value we want to provide. I wanted to organically learn that through experience. That was my experience, right? There's been some other mentors, some other people and entrepreneurs that I know, they came super laser focused on exactly what they needed to do. And they were very clear in articulating that. They were like, this is what I want to focus on. This is what I want to do. But I think for me, a lot of it has to deal with like, I've always loved being professionally a jack of all trades. Like I love having like that diversity and experience and knowledge in a vast different areas, right? Like I could go jump into legal conversations. I know how to have conversations around marketing. I know how to talk with sales. I know how to talk with operations. I know how to talk with HR. I know a little bit of IT. I can be dangerous a little bit on talent acquisition side. Like I know I could jump in interviews. I know I could jump on a phone call and be an SDR if I needed to. I loved being a jack of all trades. So organically, in getting the focus for Fresh FP&A, I had to find that out. So there's a balance between it. You may come in and say, Chris, like there's riches in the niches. I want to focus and be super clear and concise. There are advantages to that. That's going to help your messaging. That's going to help your client. That's going to know what you want to do. Or you can be on the other side, and as you organically building your business, building your clients, looking at the value, figuring it out along the way. That's the method that I took. So that was that secondary part on my founder story and talking about the vision and the focus that we had. The third area that I want to share with you is the building of Fresh FP&A, which is an ongoing process. And I would say the number one thing I took away in building Fresh FP&A is I've had to learn to appreciate the process and not the results. Let me tell you that again. If you're getting into entrepreneurship and you're getting into you're looking at this video and you want to start your own business or you want to start your own fractional CFO company, and all you're focused on is that immediate result, like when am I gonna get that first client? When am I gonna get that first check? When am I gonna get that first project? Let me tell you, you have to fall in love with the process of building your business. 100%. And not to say, like, we had some early successes at Fresh FP&A. We continue to have a lot of momentum that we're building. We've doubled our client sizes over the last 24 months. We're seeing triple digit growth in our revenue. So all the leading indicators are there. But the most important thing that I figured out in terms of building Fresh FP&A is falling in love with the process. Like, I love that I'm learning different things. I love that I'm continuing to fail. I love that I'm continuing to bring on great clients and great people to help support and bring the value that we need to our clients. So for me, the building process of it is definitely falling in love with that process. The second thing in building is one of the most important things that I think, and I share this with some great people that I have to work with, some people that I'm mentoring and coaching around in building a fractional CFO business. There's probably, I think, two or three people that I'm focused on doing that with, and I really coaching them and building their business. I always tell them, like, you have to focus on value, right? And this is a struggle for a lot of finance professionals that are thinking about taking that leap. Maybe you're wanting to start your fractional CFO business or start your own, whatever accounting business or whatever that is. We get to be so transactional sometimes that we lose track of the value that we're creating. And shout out, I did a video. I'll post a video here. So if you're going back and looking at it, this is the video that I did around value monetization. So make sure to go check this video out. You'll be able to see that process of turning pain and frustration into productivity through products, services, or solutions, thereby creating value, thereby monetizing. So for me, a lot in that journey of building Fresh FP&A is I had to figure out, and also with my team, of things that were like, hey man, that's not core value for us, right? That's not something we want to be spending our time, energy, effort, and resources in doing, right? Not to say it's not important, but when I look at the skills, passions, talents, and experiences, right, North Star focused of the business, that's not really where we have significant value we want to provide. So make sure, and listen, it's okay. Like, I started Fresh FP&A to focus on impact, to focus on value, and to continue every day to contribute to that North Star. Some people are like, Chris, I hear you. I love it. That all sounds warm and fuzzy. I got into business because I want to make a lot of money. Totally fine, man. Hey, there are probably 1,000,002 resources that you can go find. It's loaded on YouTube. It's loaded probably in your Instagram reels of like, here's how I made $30,000 in drop shipping. Like, okay, let me pause there. Like, I'm not knocking that. Like, listen, if that's your objective, you got into business and you want to make, as much money, you want to be $100 million business and you want to do that. Hey, man, set the vision, the strategies, the tactics, the metrics, the milestones, the execution on everything you need to do that. For me, it was different. Again, focused on building a Fresh FP&A was about impact. It was around value. And it was around making sure that I'm building a business that is focused on using our skills, passions, talents, and experiences to help others realize and achieve greatness in their business and in their lives, right? That's it. And tying that back, like, once you know what that core focus is for you, that's every step in building your business, right? That North Star has always been centralized in our business. So I think you got to know that. And the other insights I would say in building a high growth global fractional CFO business that I want to share with people is, one of the things I'm really, really focused on, and I preach about it a lot, is the value of building great partnerships outside of just your core focus, right? Like, I'm constantly meeting with other fractional CMOs, other fractional COOs, other fractional chief human resource officers. I'm even coming across like this whole fractional like legal space, which is a whole interesting spot where there's legal professionals that are tired of the bureaucracy, the red tape, and everything that comes along with being a corporate lawyer. And they're like, man, I'm done with all that. I want to give back. Like, I want to be able to use my services and skills to help SMB businesses. So build those great partnerships. I cannot devalue that enough. But also as well too, it's with balance. In starting my business, I would take every single introductory meeting that I had. My calendar, I'm talking months, was booked with just introductory and just meeting people all the time. And I started to find myself where like I'm meeting so many people and I have so much velocity and quantity, but like where am I really making strides in that network, right? Like it's great meeting people, but I also wanted to be more intentional and more focused, about my time in meeting people, and then also those connections that I wanted to build. That's honestly what spurred the whole insight this week of like what spurred this whole conversation of going Black is Tech, which is that conference I was at in Houston, right? Which I'll drop some links in the description. So if you want to check out Black is Tech and go learn more about how you can jump into technology or meet with other minority technology professors, or you're a CEO, owner, or founder of a minority tech business and you're looking to network, I'll make sure to drop a link in the comments so you can go check out more around that. But that's what started me to go to Black is Tech. I looked at our portfolio and I said, hey man, when I look at the software and technology clients that we serve, right? This is real. I looked at that list of all those owners, CEOs, and founders that we work with, and I'm like, none of them are minority owners. I was like, I told my team last year, I said, look, we have to do a better job of connecting with CEOs, owners, and founders at minority businesses. And one of the initiatives that we put together was attending more of these conferences and being in the room, being a face, and getting at that conference and meeting with so many different people. They never even knew about a fractional CFO concept, right? They didn't even knew that, man, I didn't even know this was an opportunity that I could go access these talented professionals and this talented team to help me grow and give me the financial clarity and confidence that I need to grow my business, right? So that was one of the things. And again, look how that ties out and how that anchors, right? Making an initiative to go be involved and connect with more minority owners at technology companies or professional services companies, right? And we want to tie that to our North Star. So again, when you're able to build your business and you know that vision, you know the strategies, the tactics, the metrics, and the milestone in everything, and you're laser focused on your North Star of what you want to be building your business, the impact and value that you want to bring, that's the recipe right there. So that is a little bit more about building Fresh FP&A. Let's talk about the future, right? I got asked this question and they were like, Chris, man, you're about to be 3 years in. What's the vision of Fresh FP&A in 5 to 10 years? And this is where I take my CFO hat off. So I need a hat on here where I have a CFO hat. Look, I'm taking it off now. CFO hat off. CEO hat on. Actually, let me put my CEO hat on the back. Turn that backwards. But when they ask me that, so I get asked that question and I'm just like, I'm stuck. Here's why I'm stuck. Because like I love everything that we're doing, right? We're serving great clients. My team is passionate about the work that they're doing. We're making an impact. We're building a great global brand that finance professionals, CEOs, owners, and founders have a lot of value in. I'm focused every day in our North Star. And when I answer that question, I look at it and says, honestly, if I'm doing everything that I'm doing right now, and we continue 5, 10, 15 years from now, and we're doing that same thing, we're still providing that value, we're still making that impact, and our organization is focused on that North Star, that's really it. And it was so like the look on this person's face that asked me that, and they're like, I never asked a finance person that talked about a business and said, I didn't say like 5 to 10 years, I want to be, 8 digits and I want to have, this and I want to acquire this business. Like, I don't, and maybe this is a good or bad thing. I don't think about my business that way. I think about as long as we're continuing to make that impact, bring that value, and we're focused on our North Star as a business and we're doing all that, that's really it. So when I think about the future of the business, that is where I'm focused at. Uh, I think there's also a great opportunity to, one of the things I get messaged with a lot, I get a lot of professional. I got some conversations booked on my calendar next week of professionals reaching out saying, Chris, man, I've spent 20, 30 years in finance, right? I'm kind of done with the hustle and bustle of corporate. I want more flexibility. I want to be able to align my North Star to providing value. And maybe there's a coaching element involved in that. I'm kind of doing that right now, 2 to 3. Curious to know from you. You're looking at this video. Do you think that coaching you in building your fractional business or taking this leap of moving over from professional to a fractional role and building a business around it or getting project work in that, if that's valuable to you, let me know in the comments. I would love to get your insights and your feedback around that and see if if that's something valuable for you. And that's it. Coaching element around it. But again, like I've never, and this is maybe so weird. Like you're like, Chris, you're a CFO. How do you not think about the future? I am like, I've always broken things down to like 24 months, man. There's so much that could happen. 5 years from now, 60 months, so much could happen, right? I always look at things and I break things down from like a 12, a 6, and a 3 month kind of like process range, right? Is like I want to be looking at things for the next 12 months. And this is where a challenge that I face, right? Is like putting on that CEO and CFO hat and being able to transition that, be more futuristic. My team pushes back on this to me, right? Is like, hey, Chris, what are we thinking about our roles and our function and our value and the pods, my fractionals that are, reporting to me that are also serving clients as well? Is like, Chris, what does it look like for us, right? And I think to me, that's something that I continue to refine and continue to evolve. But in the interim, making that impact, bringing that value, and every day we're focused on our North Star in the business at Fresh FP&A. So uh, thank you for taking the time and looking through this. I know I shared to you the inspiration behind Fresh FP&A. I shared to you the vision and the focus. I talked to you and shared some practical tips around building Fresh FP&A. And I also talked a little bit about and looked into that crystal ball around the future. If you found some value from this conversation in this live, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with other people that may be valuable in their journey. If you want to learn more about how Fresh FP&A can help your SMB business with the financial clarity and confidence that you need to continue to grow, check us out at www. I'll drop the link right here, www.freshfpa.com. Check us out. You can also visit our website. We've got a lot of resources. We got a lot of updates. There's also a button in there where you can schedule your free consultation where we sit down and talk, where I talk with you or my team sits down with you and discusses your business and how we can help and support you. So I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I hope you got a lot of value from it. Curious to know from you if you're at this stage, right? And share your founder story, right? The whole catalyst of this video, the whole impromptu around this was the passion and the energy and just the overall excitement that I got from witnessing and sharing and listening to other CEOs, owners, and founders share their founder story. And the thing about it is like your story is unique to you. Be proud of it. Share it. It doesn't matter if you're building like a 2-person shop or a 5-person shop or anything around that. Just know your story matters. Your voice matters. The world needs to hear it. The world needs to hear your inspiration. The world needs to see your passion. The world needs to hear and see your story. So curious to know from you, if you're confident, share that story down in the comments. And as I always end, keep pushing, never settle, and the best is yet to come. Let's get it, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. College football is back. Tomorrow we got college football. Saturday, NFL's about to start back up. Weather's changing. Hoodies are about to get put on. Warm cups of tea are about to happen. It's fall, baby. Let's love it. Let's love it. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for looking at the video. I will catch you on the next one. Keep it fresh, everybody.